It's time to get your morning started with the news you need to know.
News update.
This is what's trending with DJ and PK. Hashtag NBA.
I just got done saying that I think that it's a good fit for Clay. It's a good fit for Miami. The problem is what you just went through. The Eastern Conference is really good. Forever we used to say and dump on the Eastern Conference and say that it was the inferior conference compared to the Western Conference. It might still be, but it's infinitely better than it used to be. They're seventh to win the Eastern Conference. I think that's about right. Their win total over under is 44.5. I think that's about right. And I don't know that Klay Thompson really changes any of those numbers. I think that they'll be pretty solidly a play-in team at the very least, maybe fighting for the playoffs proper. But again, there's such a front load of teams that they'll have to climb over in the East. Even with Giannis and Bam, I think it's going to be tough for the Heat in terms of all those other teams that they're going to have to get past. So it's a nice signing to get Klay Thompson. They're happy to do it, but I don't think that it moves the needle all that much.
That's CBS Sports' John Gonzalez. Klay Thompson signing with Miami, bought out in Dallas. A play-in team after all that, and after Giannis. Well, life in the East. It is getting better. The gap does seem to be closing. Some of the Western teams taking steps back after years of dominance. Not the only signing this weekend. DeMar DeRozan goes to Denver. Six-time All-Star, takes a one-year deal. He got a buyout in Sacramento. I guess he's guaranteed like $10 million, so he's signing for about 3.5 there in Denver. Any of these moves do anything for you? Or the balance of power is set? Let's get to football season. Worry about NBA later. These are all around the edges anyway.
Well, make your teams better, I think. So if you make your team better, why wouldn't you do it?
DJ and PK.
Hashtag NFL.
When we expect a service, we're going to be disappointed when we don't get that service. If you go to a restaurant and your soup comes out and it's cold, you're going to be pissed. If you order from the grocery store and they deliver it and 6 of your eggs are broken, you're going to be pissed. Okay, so I get it. That's what we're in. I mean, that's why we're paid what we are. I mean, to perform at a high level. And when we don't, then that's the repercussions of it. We've run to this smoke. This is the job we've chosen. So this is part of it. None of us like to be booed. We all like to be appreciated. I think that's just human, okay? I think he emptied his heart a little bit. I don't think that says who he is. I see the competitor in him. I see the everyday work he puts in, and he wants to be back. He wants to get back to where he was as best he can, and that's hard. And you know, again, I think the moment just got him after the game, and it can get all of us.
That's Browns head coach Todd Monken sticking up for Deshaun Watson, who was booed by the Cleveland fans after going 5 of 12 for 35 yards and an interception during 4 second-half possessions and a 31-7 loss to the Bills. Not surprising he got booed. They're going to pick a starter between Watson and Shadur Sanders on Monday, and then I anticipate a difficult season followed by them drafting a quarterback in the spring yet again.
Today they're going to pick one? Today's Monday.
Yeah, you're supposed to do it today.
Oh, call me, okay?
Yeah, okay, well, we'll get right on that. Raiders running back Ashton Jotty, it might be good news. Maybe a sprained ankle. He was helped off the field, couldn't put any weight on his leg. Had to fear something more serious than a sprained ankle. Even if it's the high ankle sprain that has him out 6 weeks, PK, that'd be preferable to whatever broken bone or ligament or whatever else it could have been. So now the Raiders wait to find out how long they'll be without the guy who was supposed to be their starting running back.
Yeah, it's all about Fernando Mania.
49ers activate George Kittle from the unable to perform list. Christian McCaffrey returns to practice. Everyone looking at a good team, knowing it's also an old team and a team that has problems staying healthy, and they're having problems staying healthy in the preseason. Are they getting past the worst of it, or is this just a sign of things to come? Expect it's a sign of things to come, but time will tell. Eagles running back Jaquindon Jackson, his strength and movement in all extremities after a scary collision versus the Patriots. He did travel back to Philadelphia with the team.
Former Ute.
Left for Arkansas, right?
Yeah.
Britton Covey. He can catch touchdown passes. He can throw touchdown passes, connecting with
He can run touchdown passes.
Tanner McGee for the Eagles' touchdown in preseason, harkening back to his Timpview High days as a quarterback.
So it was a trick play?
I suppose it would be, yes. CeeDee Lamb's home burglarized while the Cowboys wide receiver was at camp. We see this periodically. Players' whereabouts known, and they get targeted. Broken window. Left with bags full of valuable stuff. DJ and PK.
Hashtag college football.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of negatives that are involved around this. One, once you go to the NFL, to me, you're in the NFL. You don't get the opportunity to come back. Two, most of us have built our rosters, and you have a limited roster limit now. So if you invited somebody back to your team, that means you're kicking somebody else off your team, right, to match your roster limits. I don't think that's fair to the players that worked all summer, all spring, and put themselves in position to be ready to work for a team. To have somebody come back. But ultimately, it used to be once you had an agent, or once you went and did the combine, or once you went to all those things qualified as you are no longer an amateur, you're a professional now once you declared for the draft. So to let any of those players come back, fair or unfair to them, it's unfair to the sport. And I think it's unfair to the players that are on current teams, for those guys to be coming back.
That's Oregon head coach Dan Lanning on NFL players going back to college football. Daquan White to be waived by the Browns, set to go back to college football and join LSU. The NCAA did get a win in court, pausing an extra year of eligibility for class of 2022 athletes. For now, college athletes from the high school class of 2022 are not NCAA eligible unless they're covered by a separate state court ruling. What a roller coaster. You can't even figure it out. It changes every day. Another court case, another decision, everything upside down again. KJ Jackson will start at quarterback for Arkansas in their season opener. Obviously, that's game 2, Arkansas at Utah. So we can keep our eye on him for something on the field, so you don't have to follow court decisions in 2022 eligibility.
Seems like he's been around forever.
Alabama names Keelan Russell their quarterback for the opener versus ECU. He'll get the start. And Reese Davis, ESPN, pushing back on Kalen DeBoer, hot seat talk. I just don't think his job is in any jeopardy. They're not winning there like they're used to, so you get why people say that, but they're also presumably getting outspent by a wide margin by schools like LSU, so you would think that might temper it a little bit.
It's tempered it for me. I'm very tempered.
Good. Missouri without Ahmad Hardy for the season opener.
Oh, rats.
Yeah. DJ and PK.
Hashtag Major League Baseball.
Swing and a fly ball. Center field. It's got a chance. Church back out of room. Yes. And it's over. Yeah. It's over. Kyle Schwarber with a walk-off home run into the hedges in dead center field. And the Phillies have absolutely stunned the Cardinals 6-4 with 6 runs in the bottom of the 9th inning.
Swing and a fly ball. Center field. It's deep. Back on it is Ewing. It is done. The ball game is over. Tristan Peters with the latest walk-off homer.
Highlights from a day full of Major League Baseball. You heard Kyle Schwarber going deep, and I suppose this is analytics at work, PK. Kyle Schwarber leads the majors in home runs with 39. Back in the day, he would have been hitting in probably in the 4th spot, certainly in the 3, 4, 5 role, somewhere in there. And now he's batting leadoff. And he was 0 for 4 with a strikeout, but putting him in the top spot got him a 5th at bat, and sure enough, he won the game with it.
Yeah, he did, man. They were down 4-0. Scored 6 in the bottom of the 9th. Dramatic. Dead center field.
Only 3 games behind the Braves. That horrible start. They could still end up winning the division and getting a playoff bye if they finish strong. Think he has any chance in the playoff in the MVP talk, or just with Ohtani and Pete Crow Armstrong? It's pretty much decided.
I think he has a chance. You ask any chance, the answer would be yes.
A good chance. Probably not.
That stuff doesn't. I don't care about that stuff.
Mariners get crushed again. Bryce Miller getting the start. He was the starter in the 22-0 loss they had last week. Now they get beat 19-2 by the Cubs.
That's the first time in 100 years or something like that.
Obviously not all those runs on him. He'd been knocked out of the game, but nonetheless, losing games by 17 and 22 runs. Arizona Diamondbacks place Michael Soroka on the injured list. Yankees' Ryan Weathers, hopeful for a 2026 return. He's got a forearm strain. The injury's piling up late in the year.
They're going to miss Soroka's bat in the lineup. You know what I mean?
Nope.
You don't?
I really don't.
Why not?
Don't follow the Diamondbacks that closely.
Because you have no idea who he is?
Pretty much.
He's a pitcher.
See, I figured. Trick question. Arizona, though, with a win, 5-3. They had that bad series in Red Sox and Marte leaving the team and all that, but can they get their feet under him here, PK?
He was photographed Friday night as the team was battling it out at a local casino during game time.
That sends a message.
Like they had a problem there.
Bees wiped out by weather yesterday. Got 4 innings in, but then the thunderstorm came, and they're not going to finish that. They're not going to reschedule it, so on they go. DJ and PK.
Hashtag BYU.
Cougars updating Lavelle Edwards Stadium, a new home team locker room, upgraded premium seats, a new recruits lounge, future premium seating and lounges to come. Upscaling everything, PK, in the constant race for more dollars. Trying to catch up to everybody who's in front of you in college football and stay ahead of the people you already passed.
Well, that's an old stadium there. So, all these other stadiums have been upgraded along the way. So it seems like they have opportunities to upgrade that. And, yeah, go ahead and do it. If you're not going to build a new one, then you upgrade the one you have, right?
Those seem to be the options, right? And even if you're going to build a new one, it's going to take years. You want to make money in the meantime. So get those new premium seats and those new premium lounges going. DJ and PK.
Hashtag RSL.
Centrally to Ruiz. Ruiz to the far side to Catronis. How about Catronis with the right foot? That was a good ball. And here's a shot, and a goal, and RSL scores, and it's Marchuk as they play right through Orlando City, and he scores in the 36th minute. 53rd minute. Here comes Orlando on a counter. They send it in front to DK Stadjar off his line, and DK scores, and Orlando has tied it up in the 53rd minute. There's a ball over to the far side. Spicer, step over into the area. Griezmann, heel flick, deflected, falls back to him, shot, and a goal. And Orlando takes the lead, 2-1. Lucky deflection, and they finish it and take the lead. Griezmann scores twice. He actually came in and beat DK to that first ball and got the goal. So his 2 second-half goals, RSL, another lead, but again, dropped points. A loss, 2-1. It's become a familiar story. They get beat, so they're now winless in their last 7 MLS games. They go back in the Leagues Cup quarterfinals tomorrow night. Got to bounce back and play Leon. The game is in Colorado. RSL offering complimentary tickets for fans to the Leagues Cup quarterfinals if you want to head over there and watch that game.
In Denver?
It's in Commerce City. It's where the Rapids play, just outside of Denver, yeah.
So they'll give you free tickets to travel 8 hours to watch soccer?
Apparently, yes.
Oh, okay. Don't normally hear away games getting free tickets by the visiting team.
So it's a neutral site with Leon also being away. So get some people in there, I guess. You're right. It's a highly unusual, though.
Yeah.
The whole situation, the whole setup is unusual. DJ and PK.
Hashtag golf.
You made it at 16. You made it at 17. Similar length now at 18. Oh, yes. 1, 2, 3. And Wyndham is the winner of the BMW Championship.
Talk about finishing in style.
For over 3 hours, we wondered where had that gone? Had it disappeared? This is what it looked like the first 3 days.
Wyndham Clark, final round 70. He wins by 3 shots to capture the BMW Championship over Patrick Cantlay, 4 over Rory McIlroy. A dominant performance and $3.6 million for Wyndham Clark. 64s and 65s, PK. Gave himself some breathing room going 64 Thursday and Friday and a 65 on Saturday. You don't usually see guys backing up low numbers like that on the PGA Tour, but he did it.
Emily Tanner is very happy.
Because?
She's moving in with him.
All right.
Moving to Scottsdale. Old Emily. Way to go.
What are you giggling about? Paychecks why I live in Scottsdale?
Her?
Yeah.
Yeah, she announced that she's moving in with Clark in an Instagram post on Thursday. Good for her, man. Quit your gig. Go over there. If you had a gig. Moving over from California. Things are really coming together for him.
All right, on to the Tour Championship next as golf winds down with football on the horizon. That is what is trending. Segment sponsored by Shamrock Plumbing. No job too big or too small. Get the personal touch with Shamrock Plumbing. Coming up next, it's the question of the day. Pete Souza will join us. He will talk Big 12 football, does Inside the Big 12. He's back with us to preview the season, and he will be coming up at 9 o'clock this morning. More football on the way. Stay with us right here on The Zone.
Over 2 decades of sports radio dominance in Utah.
My favorite.
This is DJ and PK on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Went big this Wednesday on the KSL Sports Zone with Win Tickets Wednesday. This week, Motley Crue with performances by Tesla and Extreme at Utah First Credit Union Amphitheater, September 21st. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Get your tickets today and listen to the KSL Sports Zone all day Wednesday for your chance to win. Question of the money. How close will the money match the standings? We're seeing multiple people come out trying to figure out the NIL numbers. Texas Tech, it does seem like most people think Texas Tech is right in that low to mid, however you describe it, $33 million range for NIL, and that puts them almost $10 million in front of everybody. Houston's $9 million behind. Everybody else is $10 million or more. Colorado and BYU on $23 million. TCU and Oklahoma State on $22. The Utes are at $21.9. Feel free to round them up, PK. Round them up. Your Devils are 9th at 21.5. There's actually a fair amount of congestion / compactness here with the other schools, with one notable exception, Texas Tech at the top. To answer the question, I don't think when you've got a 5 or 10% difference in NIL that's going to really lock the standings in. Now you get $10 million clear of somebody. You got 50% more money than some teams or most teams. Yeah, Texas Tech, it ought to determine the standings. It ought to be up there at the top.
Yeah, but the problem here is if it grows 5 or 10% each year, then in 3 years it's 30% bigger. So it is a big deal right now. That's what Dillingham keeps talking about. It's not catching up, because if you catch up, you've fallen behind. So absolutely, it's a big deal today, because if the trend continues, then the gap will continue to widen by even more so. So you have to be concerned about it all the time, every day.
Well, you do have to be concerned about it every day if you fall behind.
But if you catch up, you're falling behind.
Don't you feel like Arizona State is pretty much in the middle? I mean, if you're talking about Texas Tech, absolutely.
Right.
Yes. I mean, Tech isn't 5 or 10% in front. Tech's got 50% on most of the league, right? 33, and most of the league would be at 20, is at 22-ish. So it's a massive concern with Texas Tech today. The rest of the league, I think, is pretty competitive.
It's a massive concern. Yeah, it's easy for you to say because you've got nothing at stake. But if you have something at stake and somebody's 5% ahead of you today, what's it going to be metaphorically tomorrow?
Yeah.
And then so forth and so on. So it is a major concern right now.
And you're 5% ahead of somebody else, but I don't think he thinks that means it'd be a guarantee.
You're not
win if they
fighting.
play
Hey,
them.
we're going to finish ninth. Bring it in. Family on 3. That's not the goal. So, again, it's way easy for you to say because you don't have to fight it. But if you have to fight it, it's a major obstacle every single day.
And we've seen this in a lot of professional sports where we see the numbers and the 5 or 10% can be overcome. And it is overcome on a regular basis.
Right.
And I get if he's out there and he wants to scream and he needs more money, and he's going to because it's going to go up. I mean, all these
They
numbers.
all are.
Yeah, all these numbers are going to be bigger in 3 years. There's no doubt.
It's a major concern right now. Yeah. Because you're assuming that the folks who donated you to put you in 10th place are going to donate again. So that's a huge assumption.
I assume that they are going. Well, my assumption is that they go through their lists and they know that there are some people who are going to donate again and there's some people who aren't. And I think with each one of these schools, somebody might be like, hey, we're going to have to replace this $5 million in 3 years. And somebody else is like, we got to replace this $10 million in 3 years.
Sure.
And I'm sure
and if
there's
it was
people
available to be replaced,
projecting
they'd
that.
have it now.
Yeah. And they don't know where they're going to get it.
Yeah, so that's
Right.
a major concern.
I think the thing that isn't shown here, where the major concern is right now, is this league versus all the other leagues. Because I think the numbers would show that they're way behind. Because when you're recruiting against people in your league, but also outside your league, because so much of it is national. So ASU today not only could lose a player in a recruiting battle to Arizona or Utah or BYU, but USC and UCLA are coming in there. And if somebody's really good, you've listed all the kids who've gone to Texas schools. And so a lot of them aren't even on this list. And many of them are, if not with Texas Tech, they're in front of Texas Tech. So they're coming in after kids that Dillingham wants, builds a relationship with, and the kid blows up, and then he's off to somewhere
That's
outside
the same
the Big
thing as
12.
Scally and on everybody. It's not particular to one school. And I'm not really that concerned about the gap between them and the Big Ten and the SEC. Why be concerned about that?
Because you lost your quarterback to the SEC, because you lost your run back to the SEC.
Sure. And that'll happen every year.
Because of that gap.
But you're not competing with Texas or LSU.
Right, but those players could have helped you beat, fill in the blank school. I mean, whoever's on your schedule that year.
Right, so then, both of those guys, you can't really whine about it because both of those guys, the quarterback and the running back, they were transfers in.
Of course you can whine about it.
So you just go get other people.
You don't get all excited because you got more money than fill in the blank school. You obsess about the schools.
Well,
you
one
can't
was
catch.
Michigan State, the other one was SC. So it's not just money.
No, they come for playing time or coaching or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. They all have their stories.
You can't sit there and complain, well, I lost these guys. Man, they're so just take the money and go and carpetbaggers because you took them into your program from other programs. So I'm not worried about that. I mean, that's going to continue. That's going to always be out there. So they had no loyalty to your program in the first place. They just saw it for them to have the better opportunity to get what they were looking for, and they got what they were looking for, and now they got more of what they're looking for. So I don't see where anybody has a leg to stand on that. If you bring in a transfer, and then that player blows up and leaves, okay, isn't that what you want? Isn't that the Todd Phillips UVU thing? That means he played really well for you.
Yeah. Yeah, if you don't have the money, that's the pitch. That's the story you need to tell. Everybody needs a story to tell in recruiting.
Yeah. So they lost him. One guy ran over 1,000 yards, and the other guy was a quarterback for the team that went to the playoff. I think you would take that every time, knowing that they're only going to be there for 1 or 2 years. Okay, that's just the way it is now, and there's no point in complaining about that. You benefited from the system. More so, if Levitt brought them, in large part, not exclusively, a conference title. You would take that from they've got 2 transfers in right now. You would take that. They win in the next 2 years. One of them wins a conference title and then goes someplace else. You take that every time
in a heartbeat.
So that's not an issue, I don't think. Maybe that's the way I look at it. And then you just go get somebody else. But you're not competing with the SEC and the Big Ten. So why worry about that?
Because they'll take your guys. I mean, it's your story you tell us. It's the story you tell us about baseball where they can take your starter to go be their backup. I mean, I think it bugs people. I mean, is it your primary thing? No, because you're probably not going to go out there on a Saturday, with the exception of Utah's playing Arkansas. So maybe you have one game, or in the case of a lot of these teams, they're not playing any power league teams, so they're not going to lose to those teams. So while it's a problem in the offseason, you're right. Once you get into October, you're going to be worried about the teams in your league.
Yeah.
And Earl says Texas Tech is going to win because their money is much more than the rest. The others are close enough. It doesn't make an enormous difference. But I think
that's so short-sighted. It's easy for Earl to say.
I think the thing it does is that because it makes every game competitive, and so you're not worried about it because you can win any game, but you're also worried about it because this is how a league ends up beating itself up. That's the thing the Big 12 gets hit with. Yeah, you're competitive, but none of your teams are great. But when you haven't outspent people and the game's a slugfest every week, and, okay, you figure out a way to win one, you figure out a way to win another, you figure out a way to win a third, but when you drop that fourth game, now you're in trouble. Now it's like, okay, we can't have anything go wrong, or you're out. And you saw that. Utah got 2 losses, and they were out early, and everybody knew it, and they ended up having a great season and going 11-2. But there was no thought late in the season that somehow they might squeeze their way in, and you could just see it running out. Like, these other teams aren't going to lose, and the Utes are going to keep winning, and they can't get there. So
isn't that every
beat yourself
season?
up. It is in the Big 12 because the money's the same, and you have the same money, but that doesn't mean you go 4-4. You outsmart them. You go 6-2. You go 7-2, but you still need help.
Help for what?
To get into the conference title game. Does 7-2 get you in? Whereas if you've outspent the league, you can blow through some of these games and not worry about it so much. And we see it. We see leagues that are top-heavy. The Big Ten is top-heavy. The ACC is very top-heavy. But where the money's the same, these teams beat each other up over the course of the year.
Every league is top-heavy. Because every year you're going to have teams that separate, so that's always going to be that way.
I think you think so? With 4 teams, it's 7-2 in year one. You think they separated?
And then you got me on that.
Well, we've only had 2 years of this, so there's a year they separated. I mean, Utah, BYU, and Texas Tech separated last year. For sure.
So they were top heavy.
But nonetheless, even though the Utes were in the top group, they didn't really have a path in.
Well, sure they did. They lost to win the game, and you got a path.
But in the last month, that's the thing. You can beat each other up. And year one, they did. You're right. Year two, not so much. Those 3 against the rest of the league were brilliant. They lost when they played each other.
Okay, well, that's
I suspect there's going to be more of that.
How does that change from year to year? That very well could happen the next 25 years in a row. That's football. When you keep standings, that's what you got.
I think there's going to be more of beat each other up. And I think it's probably reflected because this money is so close.
It's close now. But yeah, okay.
Well, I'm talking about this season. You're
Me
right.
too.
If we get separation 3 years from now, I bet we see separation in the standings.
I think there's a couple of things here. Yeah. So they're going to beat each other up. Okay.
Oh, then it's a one playoff bid league,
Yeah.
and that frustrates people, especially because Texas Tech has run away with the money.
So if it gets 2 in, that solves all the problems, and you both get beat in the first round like they're going to more often than not?
It doesn't solve all the problems. It doesn't solve all the problems, but if you're the one who gets in as a second, it solves your problems. And right now, BYU and Utah look like they're in there.
For one season, it solves your problem. Then you go right back at it next year.
Yeah.
Does anybody think anybody from the Big 12 is going to win the national title? Because I sure as the heck don't.
No, but that's what I said earlier about you're worried about these other leagues that have pulled away from you. And it's
Why?
Because they're going to beat you in the playoffs with their more money.
No kidding. It's always been that way. The Buttes get to the Rose Bowl. They lose. This is not news. This is the way it is way more often than not. There's outliers out there.
And they want the outliers, and they want to change their position in the universe.
Great, and I want to be 6'2" with $5 million in the bank. Neither of them is going to happen.
But they have changed their position in the universe over time, so they figure there's hope.
Not
and
against
there's a
the
chance.
Sure, you have all the Scally's up there saying we can do it here. No, you can't. But he thinks he's going to say it because he's speaking to his people. And they're all riled up, and yeah, great. Have all the hope you want. Joe Glenn said to the students in the student union, we're going to go beat Utah.
Yeah,
and he got slaughtered.
He had to be held accountable.
Hope. That's sports. Yeah.
Yeah, but the hope paid off in 2004. It paid off in 2008. It paid off at the Rose Bowls.
It paid off in a row. They lost the Rose Bowls.
They won the Pac-12, and they went to the Rose Bowl, and that changed their place in the universe. And you're right. They lost the game, but they want to get
place,
back.
And
Yes.
then they're in a conference that you just told me is way far behind. I think they took a step down. They didn't improve themselves. They had nothing to do with it. It's not their fault. But they actually took a step down. But their place in the universe is reduced compared to where it was 4 years ago.
And Ute fans agree, and that's why they're not excited about the move to the Big 12.
They didn't take a step up.
But they think they can go take another step up.
They can think all they want. Great. Good for them. I got it. And let's do 2 bids. We got more spirit than you. Great. Fine.
All right. Don't go to the games. Never mind. You'll never get any better.
You take it to the extreme.
You're not taking it to the extreme.
I'm taking it to the realistic extreme. Yes. To me, it's not about winning and losing. So I've never said don't go to the games. Go tailgate with your family, with your friends. Don't let the score determine whether you had a good day. I've only said that 5 million times, and I'll say that forever. So I don't get caught up in the score. You can have great times. On November 7th, whoever wins that game is going to be flying high. They're going to love it. Those times don't go away just because you don't get to the playoff or just because you lose in the Rose Bowl. You've got those memories with your family and your friends that you spend all day with. That's what it's about to me. It's not about the score. I've never gotten into the score. It's about having a good time. So to accuse me of saying, oh, well, come on, you got no hope. No, the hope is in tomorrow's going to be a beautiful day. And I'm going to have a heck of a good time. And if the game doesn't end my way, well, it doesn't take away from the good time that I've had. Who screams that from the mountaintop louder than me?
And yet, thousands of fans go there, and the winning and losing. If they're losing big, they'll leave early.
And yet, that these teams have very little hope of winning the national title.
They do.
Right. So that's exactly what I'm saying.
But there's a chance. You can change your place in the universe. There was very little hope of going 13-0 and beating Alabama in the Sugar Bowl, and somehow they pulled it off.
Great. And that's a lifetime experience. Revel in that. I was there. I experienced it with them. I was at the Final Four. I experienced it with them. I was at the Fiesta Bowl. I experienced it with them. I was at the parade with them both years at the Rose Bowl. I experienced it with them. That's what I'm talking about. It's the experience of it, not some score by some 18 to 22 or 23-year-old that's going to determine it. I screamed that over and over again.
And that part is weird. And nonetheless, they need those 18 and 23-year-olds to beat USC and Oregon so they could go to the parade.
And have a phenomenal time while you're doing it. Absolutely.
I just remember doing radio before they got in the Pac-12, and I can remember David Locke saying if they get in, they're going to be at best like Cal and Oregon State and Washington State. And there were days that they took the beatings that Cal and Oregon State and Washington State took. But then there was a pretty good run of time where they were clearly much better than them. So even though if it's hard to change your place in the universe, it can be done.
But they didn't get in the playoff. You're talking about the playoff. That was the big knock against the Pac-12. You didn't get multiple teams in.
Well, you didn't get any team in for a lot of years.
Right. Yeah. And so if that's your standard of happiness or, oh, come on, PK, don't, you're just taking it to the extreme. So you either got that or this. Not for me. That's your sign. You assigned me that. No, for me, it's about the fun times along the way that you get to experience with your family and friends. That's what it's about. That's why you do it. You don't buy season tickets and spend all that money for hope to where we're going to go and win the national title when you had your athletic director for years telling you flat out, you have no chance. Why would you do that? Why would you buy season tickets back in you live in the past on this, you recite all this other stuff. Why they couldn't do it back then? Why would you buy season tickets? Well, because it's not about that. It's about the fun. It's the anticipation. It's about something to do that's wholesome with people, and there'll be exciting plays along the way. And maybe you don't get out on the top end of it one time, 2 times, 3 times. Okay, but then you go back and you had a bunch of fun times along the way. That's what it's about. That's the essence. That's the essence of life. Not worrying about, oh man, if we don't have one more point than them, my life is ruined. My day is ruined. The money I spent on this was wasted. Because more often than not, if that's going to be your standard, it's going to be wasted. Far more often than not.
Way more seasons without a conference title than seasons with a conference title. I just saw a list of the best teams in the last 50 years. You can tell we're in the dog days of camp. The best teams in the last 50 years without a national title. And there were some really good programs. The Utes were on the list. And
now we're going back 75 years?
No, they went back 50. It said in the last 50 years.
Can we look ahead?
And they were looking at it like you win a conference title maybe once every
right. I was at the Vegas
10,
Bowl
12
last
years.
year. I ran into dozens and dozens and dozens of Ute fans. They had a great time. That's what it's about.
So do you think they'll have a great time even though Texas Tech is spending money and running away from the rest of the
I think they'll
league?
have great times this season. Absolutely do. I think they'll have great times this season. Yes, I do. I think they'll have several. They could have 9. If the final score is determined upon great times, if that's what equals great times, they'll have 9, 10, maybe 11 great times. Are they going to win the national title? No.
No, they're not.
But I don't care about that. I understand that. Texas Tech, Cody Campbell is going to be disappointed year after year after year. If that's what his goal is, and he can get there. Oregon, Oregon has been nothing but a loser program. Phil Knight has wasted all this money because they haven't won it all. But no, I've been to their stadium plenty of times when they're hooting and hollering and having a great time. That's what you have to look at. That's what you enjoy. I think the thing that makes it bad is what Kyle Whittingham said. He's been saying it, and I don't know if he says it now because he's got the money at Michigan, so he doesn't have to say it. But in the first years of NIL, there's going to come a time very soon where the top 25 correlates directly with the top 25 NIL budgets. It's not that way in professional sports, fortunately, or else professional sports would be a big turnoff. And college is now professional sports, but we still separated college and pro. If it's literally like that, if we get to December and that graphic that's there on Facebook, if it just correlates exactly to the standings and you have 5 years of that, that'll take a hit on the sport. People won't like that. If you have no chance because someone's spending X amount of money and you're spending less than that and you're spending the 5th most in the conference, so you finish in 5th place. If there literally is a direct line, that'll be a turnoff for people because then there is no hope. Give them hope. Scally gets up there and says, yeah, we can do it right here. Good for you, man. Say it. Say it all you want. Believe it to your very core and strive for it every single year. Maybe you'll get it. But I'm sitting over here. I'm a half-empty guy. Well, to me, you've got very little chance, as does most of those schools in the conference. Maybe Tech can rise above it. Maybe BYU can rise above it. But I'm going to lack faith on that. All I know is Texas Tech went and didn't even score a point against a team with a similar or bigger budget. Didn't score a point. And I'm supposed to think they've got a shot? Reality is they probably don't. Maybe they do. Good. I mean, I said it several years back. I wrote it on KSL about the Utes don't have any chance here. And it wasn't a shot against the Utes, but people took it as a shot against the Utes. And they came after me. One guy says, man, if they get in, I'm going to remind you every single day for the rest of my life.
You haven't heard from him again. Yeah, because you're right. That's an old story.
Right.
Yeah.
And did I take joy in saying it? No. I'm going to present the truth as I see it. And sometimes the truth, you're going to love it. And sometimes the truth, you're going to hate it. So what does that mean? Sometimes you're going to love me. And sometimes you're going to hate me. Because I'm going to present to you unfiltered as I see it.
The one potential hole in Kyle Whittingham's argument about the top 25 rankings matching the top 25 NIL budgets. We'll get to that next. Stay with us.
Nobody brings you better coverage of the teams you're passionate about than these guys.
Try some more.
This is DJ and PK on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Join Scotty and the coach 10 to 2. Tim Dollar Nissan Southtown Wednesday, 11155 South Jordan Gateway in South Jordan. Question of the morning, how close will the money match the standings? Got the graphic up on our Facebook page, DJ and PK. Texas Tech NIL money. They think it's about $33 million. Houston's next at $24.5 million. BYU's at $23 million. Utah's seventh at about $22 million. As we go forward, PK, are we going to see colleges that have this big money that routinely mess it up? We've seen it in pro sports. We see NBA teams, NFL team. Well, NFL's got the hard cap and everybody's up against it. But we see NBA and MLB teams that spend more money but don't seem to get anything for that money. And if you're chasing several of those teams, well, then one of them's going to hit and you're in a tough spot, even if somebody messes it up. But when you're only chasing one, do you think there's any chance Texas Tech makes mistakes and opens the door for other teams to win the league?
Well, they can have injuries too. So, yeah.
Well, we've already seen with Sorsby, this $33 million, his $5 million would have been on top of that. They'd be at $38 million. So in a way, that thing has already brought them back to the pack to a degree.
Yeah, I think you can have those issues. Yeah, the thing about it with you're going on the pro level, and you'll go to the Mets and we'll go to the same ones over and over again, is that those are all guaranteed contracts, and they're multi-year contracts.
So one mistake haunts you for multiple years.
Yeah, and they're getting their money either way. In colleges, it doesn't work that way.
Nope, it's all one-year deals and perpetual free agency.
Right. So
even if you mess it up, you can bounce back and recover pretty quick.
And in the pros, you've already made it. The colleges, no one's made it. So you're trying to make it. So there's a big difference. I wouldn't compare to the pros to the college because they're fat and happy. They get their money. The manager's going to get fired, and you're still going to make your X amount of million, and you've got 4 more years to go on your deal. Well, that doesn't play in college. They're most likely not going to fire the coach in that way. And you're only guaranteed the money now, today. Tomorrow, you're guaranteed nothing.
It's only a 1-year mistake. You get out from under it in a heartbeat.
And then you want to make the pros on top of that because you can get all that money, and if you don't make the pros, well, then you got to get a regular job like the rest of us.
The guy who starts slumping in the pros can't just mail it in.
Right.
The guy,
he can go to the casino on Friday night while your team is facing an uphill battle to get in the playoff. And the very time your team is playing, you're at the casino in a public setting where you know full well you're going to be recognized.
0% chance you're not going to end up on social media.
Yes.
100% chance you will end up on social media.
Right. And now all the players and coaches have to answer for that. And that's a literal example happened with the Diamondbacks on Friday. Marte, their best player, who quit on them last week.
Didn't show up for the ballpark a second time.
Right. And then he flies back to Phoenix, and when the team is playing downtown, you're over there right across the street there's a casino literally right across the freeway from where they have their spring training. And that's where they have all their meetings and stuff, Salt River Fields, they call it, right across literally you could take a golf ball and smack it into their golf courses that they have right there. Talking Stick it's what it's named, right off the 101. And he chose to be there knowing full well he would be photographed and put on social media, and he's still going to get his millions. You're not going to have that at college, so I wouldn't worry about that. And are some players not going to live up to their money? Yes, of course.
Yeah, but it's a 1-year mistake, not a 4-year mistake. Or 5 or whatever it turns out to be with each individual contract.
So I wouldn't really worry about that.
You'll get temporary relief from chasing down Texas Tech, but not long-term relief.
But, things can happen, right? That money that was there for Texas Tech, they did lose a game in conference. Right? So
ASU, got him.
Maybe somebody can do that again this year. I hope so. I hope it's one of the two locals. I hope it's the two locals playing each other
Because somebody does it in the regular season, opens the door for them both to go.
Yeah, I want.
It needs to start with Houston right out of the gate, and then we'll see if somebody else can make it happen.
Sure. Or you get them. Well, I guess if you got them in the conference final, then both wouldn't be in.
Right.
But I don't have a whole lot of hope for these teams advancing deep into the playoff. But I'm sure as heck going to root for it, and I want it. Because it's good, and I got a lot of friends at both places, and I want to see them successful. Plus, it's great for us for business, and I'll always root for what's good for business. And people will be excited, and I'll get to go probably, and it'll be all sorts of fun. As I said, I've been there every step of the way with the Utes. Wherever they've been, I've been.
It extends the college football season another month. And
I want that.
Always a positive.
Yeah, so I'll be pulling for them absolutely. When they play Notre Dame, yeah. Sure. Why not? I mean, my fandom isn't going to have any. When I'm sitting in the press box silently rooting for them, whoop-de-freaking do. It's going to have zero effect on anything. I've learned that a long time ago. Who cares what I root for and what I don't root for?
Can't move the needle.
And I don't put any money on the game, so it doesn't matter. But, yeah, I think it's going to be – if Notre Dame is cracked up to what they say they are, well, that's going to be really hard. But give it a shot, man. If you should win that game, that'll be a lifetime memory for you and your folks that you go with. If you bring your son or your daughter, you're probably going to end up out on the field after the game, blah, 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 as the guy's saying, please stay off the field over the loudspeakers.
0% chance that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Unless you put up the chain link and bring out the tasers like they did at the Fiesta Bowl, the people will be on the field.
Yeah, and you'll have those folks probably who went on the field when they beat Notre Dame, or Miami. What was it now? 36 years ago, 35 years ago, whatever it was. Was it 90 or 91, somewhere in there? They went nuts, and they'll remember that. That's what it's about. And any single game, you have a chance. So when Oklahoma plays Boise State, any single game. But that's not what the playoff is about. It's not about any single game anymore.
The championship is about 4 in a row now.
Right.
3 of you can get a bye, but 4.
Right.
Because the Big 12's probably not getting the bye.
And that seems awfully difficult to accomplish. Can they win any of those games? Can they beat Alabama? Yes. Absolutely, they can beat Alabama. No doubt about it. And BYU can beat Miami, and But can you, to get to the end, you got to do it several weeks. You got to do it basically the whole month of January. That's hard.
When we come back, Pete Souza inside the Big 12 and the Pete Souza Show. Stay with us.